6 o'clock. I'd like to call this meeting to order pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20. I hereby informing all attendees that a video and audio recording is being made of the meeting. First on the agenda is public comment. Kathy? With Founders Weekend coming up, come on. Give us the whole agenda. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Chamber of Commerce mail. The front page had all these wonderful ads to let you know what's going on. And the backside told you all the activities for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, plus where they're being held and the time they're being held. So everything looks wonderful. The parade is at 10 o'clock. People that are participating in the parade should be over by Center Street by 9:30 so they can line up. The Grand Marshal of the parade is our former fire chief.
Ronnie?
Tell me, Ronnie Driscoll, that's his first name, thank you. I'm thinking tuna, but.
Well, that's him.
Everybody knows him as that.
Knows him as tuna. So everything is shaping up and things are shaping up very, very nicely. Center Street with the demolition of the buildings there. There's been several trucks that are picking up all the, fascinating to watch what's happening. So that's it.
Okay. Anyone else for public comment? Okay, moving on, we have minutes in our packet from August 28th.
Minutes of August 28th.
Have a motion, a second, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Peter?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
Conrad?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Buck Donovan, aye. I gotta congratulate Beth. Since I've been here, this is the best minutes have gone through with getting approved. To really struggle with them. Okay. We have, what was, okay, it was posted for 6:10, so technically we do have to wait till 6:10. We can jump around the other items. Peg, you want to give us a talk about the?
Yeah, the meeting that I went to the next day after we approved the theater and Spring Street, they were so wonderful, so gracious. They opened up the barn. I love barns, so post and beam, and they talked about what would be, and you know, it is a work in progress. And then at the end of the meeting, she asked what I did, and I said, oh, I worked in the schools. And she said, and I said, we have both Lee and Lennox, well, all throughout Berkshire County, they're wonderful Shakespearean programs that are offered to the students. And she said, well, when we get this done, I'll ask the Lee School Committee or go to them and talk to something about incorporating students. Now, it's a work in progress. I don't know, you know, when it would be done, but it certainly would be lovely. I did notice too what you had mentioned, David, at our meeting about turning out of Spring Street, that little, where they are, I don't think there'll be a problem, but if you, one part of it, there is a hill there, or I don't know what you'd call it, and the people do drive. The theater is going to be at, and they exit. I don't think that would be a problem. But I just want to say it's a very nice little theater if it gets done, and it would be really nice for us, I think, in the town of Lee and the young people. And I forgot her name now, Shoshana, is going to Columbia University this year and getting her final, finishing up. So she has a lot of, I think, exciting
Here's
things
Gordon.
for young people. That would be great. So, thank you.
Okay, and that's a teaching theater, right? That's their whole,
Hopefully, yes.
once they get
but
going, yeah.
Yes, hopefully, but they will also have some, other performances. So,
okay,
yeah, thank you.
sure. So this week, Dan, you sent us an email out and, you did. So what happens there with open meeting law?
Yep.
You can talk to one of us.
Okay.
One-on-one.
Yep.
But like, we can't,
Oh, I got
we,
it.
three of us can't.
Yeah, no, I got it.
It's no problem.
It was just.
Yeah, yeah, I wish we could do informational stuff like that, but we can't. It
Yeah.
it just gets sticky. So, that's why we throw it on the agenda. Your questions were Starbucks trash,
Yes.
location of it, or that it stays open of it?
Because I just wanted to know how it kind of got through. I know you're
Oh,
gonna talk about.
it was a
signs.
total discussion. That it was a big
Yeah.
discussion. How their concerns from them and us was their traffic pattern through there would be detrimental and risky with a garbage truck trying to come in and out to change. They actually proposed it up front, not the best location, but I mean, it's their property. If they, and our screening, have since then reminded them to keep it closed. So that's how, there was discussion, I believe,
Okay.
and it seemed like that was the worst of all, or the best of all evils.
Right. Well, at the end of the day, if you go up and down Main Street, it's probably the only business that has something like that.
Out front, yeah. Yeah.
That was kind of
I know.
my question.
How it is, how it's set up in the back there,
Yeah.
it'd be tough for them to put it out back. So that was their solution. So that was it. Signs at Eagle Mill. I don't know. It's a fence.
Right. No, I was just, you guys were hitting on the Starbucks signs.
Yep.
And I have the pleasure of driving by the do signs. for the last 2.5
That's
years.
like, I was trying to talk to Conrad
None
about
of
it.
us
It's like,
were thrilled about it.
we've just become so
Well-
accustomed to them. Is it an informational sign? Is it just a fence with
Yeah.
lettering? I mean, it's a hard one.
Someone asked me from outside of town and said, are those ever gonna be, what's the deal? And I was like, that's a
Going now.
very good question.
Yeah. But
Mr.
it-
Chairman, wouldn't the way to find out the answer to that to be that you would file a complaint with the zoning enforcement officer and see what his ruling is?
Good.
I mean, if you really want to know what the town's view of that
Okay.
advertising, we might have opinions, but our opinions won't even get you a cup of coffee at Starbucks.
But you can throw your trash in the recycling out front.
Up front.
Fencing, that's a given. I mean, you gotta have construction.
Right.
fencing.
Gotta have fencing, absolutely. Whether you need to have 6-foot-high letters advertising your
Seems
business.
to be the standard now.
On multiple panels.
Yeah.
Some construction areas, they have like one, it could be the general developer, it could be the leasing agent, it could be the plumbing, the electrical, the HVAC contractors that might have individual things. They would be considered temporary signs, I would think.
Then I wonder,
Might be okay. I don't know. I don't know what they would say.
Oh,
No,
we think of the code.
Whether you want to file a formal complaint or not is a question too. Last meeting, I brought up the question about the little "we're open" signs out in front of Duncan.
Mhm.
And the zoning enforcement officer told us that he was looking at it, and I'm expecting that we'll get a report sometime. If we don't get any report, then I would have to choose whether to file a complaint to get a formal process started. So likewise, you might want to start with just an inquiry rather than a formal.
Yeah. I wasn't even going the whole, to file a complaint or down that. I just didn't know if it was something that was discussed at some point. Saying, hey, it's okay. I understand construction fences, you see them all the time. You go down in Barrington and they have them with all the various projects, but, you know, sometimes you can have just a sign out front that lists the name of the contractors, and you don't need the shield that's a banner of advertisement. It can just be a black cloth over it to, you know, construction zone or caution, not.
I think for the longest time, they were trying to hide what wasn't going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
But it's on.
going now.
Okay.
All right, it's 6:10 at this point. I'm going to relinquish the chair and Peter can take over.
I'm gonna move into your chair.
Yep.
So I
Yeah,
can get
just,
on camera.
we have a few people on. I got by.
I'm sure. Sit far too.
On the floor.
We'll tell you, I got the cord.
Right, good evening, everybody. As previously announced, I'm Peter Blum. This is the Lee Planning Board. This is a public hearing on a proposed bylaw that the planning board is considering. Notice has been given dated August 23 of 2023. Beth, can you confirm that there was the newspaper advertising required by the statute has been complied with? Thank you. So the notice has been complete. And this meeting is being recorded. I want to read into the record a summary that I prepared, and it is attached to the agenda and available to the public. Summary of the draft short-term rental bylaw. The availability of internet software like VRBO has led to a large increase in the short-term rental of residential property in Lee. Our current bylaws don't say whether such rentals are allowed or disallowed, and there has been some confusion and unhappiness. Some homeowners want to rent their properties as STRs, but they are uncertain whether they may. On the other side, some hotel and motel owners understandably feel it is unfair to allow unregulated competition that doesn't have to meet common standards. This draft bylaw is a proposed amendment to the town's zoning code. It does allow for short-term rentals, but with some limitations. The planning board sought to produce a balanced approach to STR regulation, imposing more restrictions than some towns, but less than others. The draft is rather long for Lee, in part because it matches a complex state law definition for short-term rentals. Of course, the proposed bylaw would allow individual persons to use their properties as STRs. So a homeowner who leaves town, say, for the winter can rent that property as an STR. Corporate-owned property is not eligible for STR use, but an exception is made for an LLC that operates only 1 or 2 units and where the owner of the LLC stock lives on the site. Also, income restricted or so-called affordable housing cannot be rented as STRs. There is no restriction on how often property can be rented. Where a Lee resident has a room or a cottage available for rent, it can be used as an STR all year long, regardless of whether the owner is present. The proposed bylaw has no effect on traditional long-term or month-to-month rentals. In Lee, STR owners already must collect and remit a tax to the State Department of Revenue. This bylaw would require that STRs also be registered at the town hall, providing a fair amount of information to the town, such as who owns the property, how many tenants are expected, and how to reach the property manager. The registrations will help the town keep track of how many short-term rentals exist in town, but the main function will be as a platform to enforce the bylaw's performance standards. The annual registration fee will be $100. The performance standards are in subsection F of the draft. They restrict short-term tenants and owners from exceeding the declared occupancy limit and from erecting tents or playing amplified music outdoors.
Peter, can I interrupt you for a
Yeah,
minute?
sure.
I think I'd like to make an amendment in this section F, operation of short-term rentals. Down at, it's on line 4, And we're going,
Dave, can you wait until I finish the
Sure.
presentation and we have
I
public
thought- I
comment?
didn't know if you wanted to do it now
Oh,
or,
we're going to have plenty of time to talk
Okay.
about the details, but I want to get
all right, I'm
the
sorry.
information out. No, it's all right. The bylaw would also require the registrant to identify a property manager who will respond to a tenant's telephone complaint within 2 hours. There are also some safety requirements such as smoke detectors and a parking requirement. STRs are subject to inspection for fire and safety purposes, but there is no mandate for annual inspections. Violations of the performance standards will be enforced in the same manner as a zoning violation. That means a potential fine of $300 per day. Also, repeated violations could produce a 12-month revocation of the right to offer short-term rentals. In the document that we provide with this hearing, there's another half page of discussion about how things work in other towns and what's different, but I'm not going to take your time now to read that to you. I also want to mention that we received an email in regard to this, and I want to mention it in the record. It's from Becky Leger, or Leger. Do you know how she pronounces that? Leger? No, Leger, from St. James Avenue. A nice email complimenting us on our work, but saying that it looks to her like she doesn't need, we don't really need to have the property manager required to live in Massachusetts. And so that's an issue I'd like the board to consider before we vote on this. I wonder if there's any members of the public who would like to make any comments on this proposed bylaw. Yeah, come on up. Can I identify yourself, please?
John Benedict. I live in Lee. So we do have a short-term rental. I didn't really get a chance to read your proposal, your bylaws until right now.
Okay.
I just found out today that you're having this meeting.
Well, I'm glad you're here.
So I'll just tell you what we do. We have a house across the street from our residence. So we have two houses on the same street, and we Airbnb one of them. We rent to Tanglewood for a couple of months, and then we do Airbnb throughout the rest of the year. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. We do have rules. 3 cars in the driveway, no more than 6 people in the house. We don't want parties. So I'm just giving you my opinion of, I'm a local person. I've been here my whole life. My family's been here since 1750. So this is not people, coming from out of town, buying houses here and renting them. So it does help us out a lot financially to be able to live a little bit better, not struggle. We're not rich people, but, we're just small town people, and like to
Thank you.
say that.
Any board members want to ask Mr. Bendix any questions?
Did you find, I'm sorry, did you find the language that was indicated in the bylaw?
What I read so far is great. I mean, I appreciate that you're not limiting it. I'm happy to register. I'm happy to, abide by smoke detectors and, make it safe for everybody. I also like to say my neighbors are happy with it. Matter of fact, some of them rent it for, their families. One neighbor rents it for his daughter for the month of June so she can come up and visit it. We have people that rent it for Thanksgiving for their family, will overflow. So my neighbors are all good neighbors.
So the conditions you feel are reasonable and not over.
I think so. I think it's great. I appreciate it.
Anybody
I was
else?
just gonna ask you if you had a copy of it, but apparently you do.
I just got it.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know if there's anything I don't agree with yet, but as far as I skimming through it, it looked good to me.
From what you said and from what I heard, it sounds like it'll work out fairly easily for you. I mean, if you're renting, first of all, if you're renting for a month or two for Tanglewood, you don't even have to, you're not even affected by this if that's all you did. But since you mentioned that you do VRBO during the winter and the fall, you would want to register and pay $100. That'll be a difference. And you
Yes.
need to designate yourselves or somebody nearby as a property
Yeah,
manager.
we manage it ourselves. We clean it ourselves.
So that's no issue for you. And you'll need to have, fire extinguishers but I'm sure you've got all that already. So
Yeah.
thank you.
So we use Airbnb, not VRBO, but same thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's here.
Same thing.
Dave, any questions?
Well, I have the amendment that I want to
Oh,
make.
yeah, no, but
No,
for
for him,
Mr.
no.
No, okay. Dan?
No.
I just want to see if anybody thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you.
See if anybody on the call, on the Zoom call, wants to offer any thoughts. I'm trying to unmute all here. It's not working. Oh, did you want to say? Sure, please.
Angela, and I am John Benedict's wife. So as my husband was saying, we clean it, we do everything. That's our part-time job. I am also a teacher. I work in Southern Berkshire Regional School District. I teach Spanish and French. We have many of the clients. So it's so nice because they become like part of we know each other. So it's not 100% like strange people. So about that, and we kind of get to know them. We have a couple of people that come from the area and they stay from Boston or from New York, and we're going to work there. So we know. Also, it also helps us a lot financially, obviously, because we wouldn't be able to afford. That's why we do the work together. But it just becomes a really, really welcoming people that we know for many, many years. So
Thank you.
Extended family.
it is really, it's really fun because you get to know the person that likes the computer, and we get to know the people. Every year we have some people, we have the same people coming at the same time. Last year, there's a family that comes skiing every year in February. And last year was awful for skiing. And the family didn't cancel, and we said, it's okay, don't worry about it. And he said, oh, no, we'll just go something else to do. So it was really nice. So I just wanted to tell you that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any board members have any questions, comments? No? Oh, all right. I guess, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Beth, I can't seem to get anybody unmuted here. Can you help me with that, please? Oh, all right. There's an unmute all button, but it doesn't seem to respond. I wonder if anybody attending by Zoom would like to comment further on this bylaw proposal. If so, please unmute yourself.
Mr. Chairman, this is Gordon Daly. I was going to tell you that when you hit unmute all, it gives me the option, and I kept choosing stay muted. So
Oh, I see. Oh,
if you
thank
were
you.
giving the option, it could be that people at home just don't want to talk; they just want to listen. So
Okay.
I thought I'd give you the heads up. If they want to unmute, they should just unmute themselves or raise their hand.
Thanks,
all.
Gordon.
Sure,
Thanks.
no problem. Yeah.
Gordon, did you have any thoughts you wanted to put on the record about this before we vote?
I'm just listening at the moment to see what's going on. I've been involved a little bit in the wording and the adjustments and whatnot, and I'm looking forward to hearing Mr. Forrest's recommendations. And no, I think it's a good idea, and I think that the people who came and spoke so far, I think they represent, probably the legit short-term rental people out there, and they will realize that this is not a burden to anybody. So hopefully they'll recognize that for a town meeting. And that's all at the moment. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Gordon. All right, I'm going to assume then that no further comment is being offered by members of the public, and I'll open up for discussion by the board members. Dave Forrest.
Yes, I would like to make amendment in section F, operation of short-term rentals, line 4, and to strike residing within the state.
You want to explain what the purpose of the amendment is, Dave?
I think that as long as we meet, the property manager can meet the time constraints of responding to a problem, they don't have to live within the state.
So they would still be required to be able to get to the short-term rental within 2 hours, no
Correct.
matter where they live.
Yep.
And this is the same point that was raised in the email from Ms. Leger. So I think you're responding to that. Thank you. Any second for that motion with an amendment?
Sure, I'll second it. I'd be
Peg
happy
Byron
to.
seconds. Is there any discussion on the amendment? If not, I'll call for a vote. Conrad?
Aye.
Peg?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Peter, aye. So the draft is amended by striking the words residing within this state on page 3, paragraph F4. Is there any other discussion from members of the board?
Just should say that the email that we got from Becky was very thorough, very comprehensive, and gave us an understanding of what she believes the short-term rental idea should be addressed here in town. So I think she was all favorable. She did make a mention of the concern for the out-of-state
Yeah,
section. So I think this is a positive addition to the
record. Yeah, I agree. Anybody else? So if you're ready to vote then, what the statute requires is that if we like this and we want the town to adopt it, we should send a report to the annual meeting. So if I'm ready to entertain a motion to report this favorably or unfavorably or whatever you want to the town for action at town meeting. Anybody want to make a motion?
Mr. Chairman? Oh, Mr. Chairman, before you do that,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Gordon Bailey here. I just want to make sure it's doesn't necessarily mean it's going to the annual town meeting. It just said that the planning board writes a report to the town meeting, because we may be having a meeting, since this board's action, it's only good for 6 months. And I'm pretty sure at this moment in time, we'll be having a special town meeting sometime in late October or probably November. So your actions here tonight would meet that. But I would just, hopefully you wouldn't use annual town meeting as part of your motion, just the town meeting. That's all. Thank you, sir.
thank you, Gordon. I completely agree. Thank you for the correction. Peg, I think you made a motion.
Well, yes, I would hope we would do
You-
this.
and you-
I'm making a motion.
To
That we-
report this to
to
the
the
town
town
meeting with the
meeting.
recommendation that it be
Yes.
enacted. Is
Yes.
that right? Is that seconded?
Yes, I'll second.
Seconded by Dave Forrest. Is there any discussion before we vote? If not, I'll take a roll call vote. Conrad?
Aye.
Peg?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
Peter? Aye. Dan? The motion is passed and the amended proposal will be reported to town meeting. Thank you. This concludes this agenda item. Mr. Chairman, please come back. Just say thank you.
I said, thank you.
Doing? We're looking good for time, right? 8:15 kickoff?
Oh,
Okay. And if anybody in Zoom was wondering why I left, we do have an STR that we operate, my companion and myself, so to avoid the conflict of interest stuff, I sat on the other side. Okay? Thank you. Next up. Where is he?
The applicant.
Applicant, Jim, yeah,
Jim is here.
Jim, you're there. We don't have Patrick, though.
Do it based on the filing.
We don't have any,
Oh, we have to sign. Yeah.
don't have
Yeah.
anything to sign. We don't have any prints.
Could we approve it? And just sign it as we just pop in to sign
I
later?
think we really got to see it.
you think
It would be prudent to.
Well, I mean, we have the electronics.
Oh, the electronic, true. Yeah.
Does everybody understand it? Is there any questions?
I think I do. I mean, I think what they're talking about is subdividing, they have a
Not sub-
house and a large lot, and they're subdividing the lot.
Subdividing.
Chairman, I believe Mr. Bailey raised a question.
There he is. Thank you. Go ahead, Gordon.
Hi, thank you, sir. I appreciate it, Mr. Chairman. I would, if I were you, I'd be very hesitant to do this without a document in front of you. Or if you're going to move forward, at least make sure that you all understand what's going on and then refer to the date and who drew and who the engineer, architect, surveyor, whoever it is. Just make sure you're very careful as to protect the town by making sure you are voting on an exact plan with a date shown on it. So I haven't seen any I couldn't see any electronic version, so I have no idea what you're doing. Maybe you could explain it on the way through, and that would be helpful. Thank you.
They go out with our agenda.
It did.
Mhm.
That is what I was trying to do. If you want to take it up, Mr. Chairman, or if you want to hold it, so no consequence to me.
Jim, how fast you want to move on this? Bueller, yeah.
So wait a minute.
Yeah.
Are you
There he
talking to
is.
me?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't even know this was supposed to be tonight until I went to a meeting today and somebody said it was on the agenda. I haven't heard from him, but,
okay. Yeah, because Patrick didn't show.
okay, like he didn't say he was gonna do this tonight. He said September. So maybe he's a week, maybe he's a meeting early. I don't know. We can wait. We can wait.
if-
That'd be okay.
All right, I think
Yeah,
that'd be
no
best
big
to
deal.
do.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so too. I'm wondering where he is. Maybe something happened. I don't know.
Okay.
He never mentioned it tonight. I just, Dave said it was tonight and I didn't even know, so.
I'll tell you, it doesn't look like any issue. It'll be a matter of, looking at the big prints and signing them, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, no problem. I'll find out what happened.
Yeah. Maybe missed the week. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I maybe got the wrong date. Cause he never notified me either, so.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Yeah.
All
This
right,
date
thanks,
kinda
guys.
sticks with
Sorry
everybody.
about that.
No problem.
All right,
No,
have a
we're
good
sorry.
night.
We're sorry we can't sign off on it
No,
tonight.
that's
Tell you
okay.
the
No
truth.
big deal.
All right.
A week or a month ain't gonna hurt nothing, so.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Sounds good.
Take care.
See
Bye-bye.
ya.
Thank you.
Next up, master plan update.
There was really nothing to report. We had a meeting scheduled last week. We tried to do it on Tuesday, couldn't get everybody, tried to do it on Thursday, couldn't get everybody. So I just canceled the meeting. So I have nothing new to report since my last report.
Let's see, the other items we already covered.
Mhm.
Okay, Pat?
The jets are warming up.
See how fearful we are when
Boy,
she
When Beth
she
says-
gives us the word, right?
Is the game on tonight? Is that right?
Yes, it
Yeah.
is. Oh, can't you tell she's,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess
Great.
we have one more motion,
Oh.
motion to adjourn.